Government shutdown crisis is averted for now. The Senate actually passed a bipartisan bill on Saturday night on a vote of 88-9 to keep the government funded for 45 days. And joining us right now with more, it's Punchbowl News co-founder Jake Sherman, also an NBC News and MSNBC political contributor. And Jake, I think we all left last week thinking that it was almost a foregone conclusion that we would see a shutdown, at least for some portion of time. So this is a little bit of a rabbit out of a hat that McCarthy managed to do with all of this. But I think if you're looking at markets this morning, we are looking at yields higher. And that's in part because, look, this is a 45-day reprieve. We don't know what happens to his speakership. We don't know what happens to a lot of these questions in the meantime. What are you thinking right now? How are you kind of positioning all of it?
Yeah, so a few things to think about. Number one, McCarthy had been saying for weeks that he could not pass a funding bill without something on the border and spending cuts. And then he passed a funding bill without anything on the border and no spending cuts, basically leaving spending for the next 45 days flat in 2023 spending levels. So that's how he avoided a shutdown. And I would say that over the next 45 days or so, there's a lot of uncertainty around government funding, whether it's funding the war in Ukraine or just general government spending. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Congress to come up with some sort of agreement with the Senate. Now, this all ties into McCarthy's future because McCarthy probably cannot stay speaker with Republican votes only. So he's going to need Democratic votes to keep him in the job. So how that impacts the next 45 days and government funding going forward remains to be seen. But it could pave the way for some sort of bipartisan agreement between Republicans and Democrats, leaving aside the more fringe members of McCarthy's party to make sure that government funding is extended in 45 days without much fuss.
So Hakeem Jeffries is going to have a deciding he's going to have to be the decider, so to speak, to come up with something here. If they don't support McCarthy, who finally told these extremists in his party to forget it, he's going to be the adult in the room, what do they risk? Much more chaos? What happens throughout any of this? How do you think the Democrats are going to be thinking about this?
Yeah, the conventional wisdom for months has been that Democrats would help McCarthy tacitly or very lightly to make sure there isn't a lot of chaos on the other side. And I think that is still, I don't know if it's the operating thesis, but whatever comes on the other side of McCarthy is not as good for Democrats as McCarthy. That's been the general consensus for a long time. Now, all that said, McCarthy doesn't have much trust among Democrats, although he's built a very good rapport with Jeffries. I don't know what Jeffries does here, and there's a lot of talk among our sources, the people that we talk to, that McCarthy has to give something up to earn Democratic support, whether it's changes in the rules or something like that, to make sure that Democrats have his back. Now, there's a lot of ways for Democrats to have his back without actually voting for him. They can vote to table this motion, a bunch of procedural stuff that's not terribly interesting. But Jeffries has probably the biggest decision of his, definitely the biggest decision of his leadership, but one of the biggest decisions of his career in will he save Kevin McCarthy. And by the way, Democrats will be split here. They don't need every Democrat. They need 20 to 40 Democrats to either take a walk or to vote to table a motion to get rid of McCarthy. But listen, Matt Gaetz and the hardliners have said that if Democrats do that, McCarthy will be a speaker that is propped up by Democrats. And I think that is a sign that there's not going to be much cooperation in the Republican ranks for the next year or so.
But are we going to be looking at bipartisan moves to get things done? I think part of the reason McCarthy had reneged on his early deal is because he couldn't do it in his caucus. What happens? What do things look like? Even though it sounds like both sides are going to say they don't particularly trust him, I understand why he got to the positions he did along the way.
McCarthy has about 200 people who he can count on any single day of the week, but you need 218 to pass anything. So McCarthy has the binary choice. He could work with the hard right or he could work with Democrats. He has tried to work with the hard right. It's not worked. They couldn't pass some of the most conservative legislation I've seen in 15 years covering Congress because the hard right didn't like it. So he's going to have to either work with Democrats or work with them. He's tried the right. It hasn't worked. He can now try moderate Democrats to see if that works. So I think I don't know about bipartisanship, but that is the choice that he faces. And I think that it's pretty clear what the best direction for him to go in is.
It's classic. He said, they wouldn't let him pass the Republican versions. And then when they totally block that and he does the only thing left, they say, what are you doing? You can't. I mean, it was insane. It was a total catch-22. Tough position to be in, but, it took 15 votes, Jake, to get the speakership in the first place. So maybe this makes him stronger. When was the last really strong GOP speaker? When was the last really strong Gingrich?
Well, it wasn't Paul Ryan. Well, it wasn't Paul Ryan. It wasn't John Boehner. Gingrich, you could argue, but Gingrich had his own problems, and Gingrich shifted with the winds.